Call our meeting to order. Seeing no guests in the room, we'll request from city staff proper confirmation of coma requirements has been provided to the public.
It has.
Thank you. No guests to welcome, no citizens?
I do have,
Yes.
I would like to formally introduce.
Yes.
Our Commissioner Lenkowitz, who is the new updated liaison for the Parks and Rec Advisory Board.
Very good. Thank you. I'm assuming no citizens forum as well. I'm moving on to item 4, approval of the agenda. Is there a motion?
I'll motion to approve.
Thanks, in a second. Thank you, sir. Approval and a motion in a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. On item 5, approval of the minutes provided in your packet from our January 12th meeting. There are no additions or corrections. I take a motion to approve those.
A motion that we approve the minutes as
Thank you.
presented.
In a second.
I'll second.
Denny, thanks.
Except I think Smoky is spelled wrong. There's Smoky Valley.
Yep.
I don't think it has an E
No
in
E.
it.
No E.
No, that's
I
correct.
know it's a nitpicky thing, but whatever.
So as amended, are you agreeable to that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Activity reports. Anything staff wants to highlight or questions from members here?
Few highlights. The city staff, Parks and Rec included, are going through a job assessment tool, so you'll see a few of those peppered around the activity reports. The city entered into a study for a pay plan, so all staff went through an exercise to kind of go through their role with the city, and so you'll see some of those comments through here. Let's see. We have an upcoming event, Ties and Tiaras. That is actually this weekend. It's actually Friday night at Tony's Pizza Event Center. And some information in there about starting to staff up and ramp up for our summer season, summer Parks and Recreation.
I'm sorry, I saw the mention about the community garden locations, and I'm sure I'm just forgetting where they're at. But
We have one out at Stemmel, the old school building, that's Fifth and Stemmel Road. Then we have another one at, over by Friendship Center, back behind Friendship Center. And then the third one is not actually ours, it's at the Community Food Bank. It's a new one they just put in, really nice one. But we were just asked, since we were out picking up debris, plant material out of the others, if we could go by and just pick that up and clean it up. So that's really, at this point, our only involvement in that one.
okay.
Did you happen to mean Carver Center?
Carver Center, what did I say?
Friendship.
Carver Center,
Just
I'm
making
sorry.
sure.
Okay.
There used to be another community garden south of town near K-State Salina. However, I believe that land was consumed by the new Tony's Pizza Event Center plant.
Okay.
Yeah, and that one out there, I don't think had been used for quite some time, so.
Do they pretty popular, or are they?
Not really. I think that's one of the reasons they kind of quit doing it. I think people have just kind of geared back. They're not doing so much with community gardens now. Having one, they still, I think Jason still wants to try and get something out in South Salina somewhere. And really, we really haven't come up with a good location. We don't particularly want them in one of our parks. And so the city doesn't own a lot of other property in other locations in South Salina that would really be conducive to doing that.
Yeah.
One item I'd like to point out for the Salina Municipal Golf Course, As you can see, the rounds played for January were higher than typical. So we had a very decent weather month for the month of January.
Did you, I see you have an opening for a park tech position at Sunset. Applicants, is that,
We're not getting very many applicants at all. I think today we've got 8.
8?
Yeah. So I talked to HR, we're going to leave that position open until filled. A lot of times they want to try and put just a time frame on it, but with so few applications, we're just going to leave it open until filled.
Okay. And the recreation supervisor position, is there any luck?
Yeah, that one's, haven't had any luck on that one
No
as
luck
well.
yet.
So it's still on hold. We were able to fill the ball field park position, so his first day was today.
'Cause that's about to get busy.
Yes.
Any other comments, questions? Yes, sir.
On the community guards, do they charge for the people to use it?
There is a fee for that. I think it's $25. We don't collect any of that. That all goes through Jason with his group. All we really do is just supply the ground and do the cleanup in late fall. They do all the cleanup in the spring, set everything up. That's our only involvement in it.
Because there is a community garden at, what I think it is, Trinity United Methodist Church. over
Yes,
on Yield
that's
Street.
correct.
Right.
You got one there.
Okay.
And it's normally just for the people that are there at church until they have extras, then they will sell those out.
Right. I had a plot there at Trinity one summer, which it was one summer only, and I did not do a very good job of maintaining my garden bed. The gentleman that Rick Martin is referring to, Jason Graves, he's with K-State Salina Extension Office, a partnership with the city land for Stimmel and for the Carver Center and the garden behind the Carver Center, but they operate it basically as far as a community garden. And they collect the fees, they take care of all that for us.
Very good. Anything else? We'll move on to new business, item 7A, Citizens Board Annual Report Review and Recommendation.
All of you were asked last meeting to contribute in reviewing 2021 minutes of the Parks and Rec Advisory Board meetings. And the comments that were provided were compiled and into a report that will be based on your recommendation unless you have edits or suggestions or changes. This would be forwarded to the city clerk this week after this meeting, probably tomorrow. And I did do some mild editing, but I did compile all your submissions to what you felt were accomplishments, goals, and other items of interest. Morgan, with our office, compiled the attendance. And if you were to recommend for this to be approved, I can forward this on to the city clerk.
We did not stay within the 3 to 5 suggested limit there.
did not.
But I thought it looked
I
well,
kept it to one page, so I felt that was
well
adequate.
constructed. Any questions or comments, or anyone want a motion?
I'll motion to approve the report.
In a second.
I'll second that.
Thank you. A motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. 7B, Oakdale Park Maintenance Road Access. Martin?
I think if you look there, I have just a brief description on the one page here, but I think if you look at the picture, the first one where the jogger, as you can see, and that's just a few of the vehicles that we have parked there. That's the only parking that we have, that, and then right across from the office. We don't have any off-street parking per se out in front of Oakdale Park. So what happens there is when we have our vehicles parked there, whether it's during break or lunch or just periodically throughout the day, it turns that road into a one-lane road. And you know, if you look at that, on the right-hand side is the river, so nobody can really get over too far on the right. So it does pose a little bit of a danger to joggers, walkers, and staff when they come out of the buildings. I wish I would have had a better picture so you can kind of see. I think there was another one, we just didn't put it in the report. But if you turn the page and kind of look at what I have proposed, you can kind of see the way our shop and office building stuff is laid out. So what happens is staff comes out of these buildings to go to their vehicles, and it does pose just a little bit of a danger issue. Regardless of what we have posted for speed limit in parks, very few people abide by that. So I guess there's different ways to look at this. We're looking at it from the aspect of staff safety and citizen safety. And the proposal is to, I don't know if you're familiar with over at the water plant on 4th Street, they block that road off that goes back behind the water plant. So we're looking at a similar situation to do that, only using, you see the pictures of the planters there, that we could put those planters and take up half of the road, block it off. Of course, we'll have signage and so on and so forth. And then during special events, whether it's KKOA, the River Festival, stuff like that, we can go and pick these planters up, set them off to the side, and then allow full access through there during bigger special events. I'm just looking at it as from a safety standpoint. There's been several close calls just in the little over 5 years that I've been here, that I'm really surprised we haven't had doors taken off vehicles or somebody hit.
Would it be like closed to access at the north end, or just they'd have to drive around the planter to get?
The staff?
Or, I mean, it obviously trying to deter through traffic, but is it actually like closed
No,
to
it
through
would be
traffic?
closed to through traffic,
Okay.
yes. The bollards or the planters and stuff here are not meant to slow traffic down.
Okay.
It's to keep other traffic other than,
So you'd, like, they would physically block the drive?
they would block, one lane, the incoming lane from either side, so staff can still drive around, but we'd be driving on the wrong side of the road, basically. But just to show people that that's only for staff and authorized vehicles, so UPS, stuff like that needs to come in.
Okay.
They can still come in.
The entrance at Mulberry and the entrance on that'd be the north end,
Yeah.
would still be maintained. This is referring to the entrance.
Just that
and exits
northeast corner.
On the other end.
Sure.
Yeah, the northwest entrance.
And then if people were to drive around the park, it's a sharp turn right now. They can make it around the old pool there and make it out.
Right. I don't see a problem with it personally.
And, I mean, when Rick proposed this, it's been on the table for some time, but the day that Rick and I talked about it was the day we had someone driving through there about 50 miles an hour, 45 miles an hour. And Yeah, it was, yeah, so. And felt it was time.
And part of it too is we've got some larger equipment with bucket trucks, chipper trucks, stuff like that that we have in those shops, and trying to ease our way out. And some of those, we have to back them out, so then that means having a spotter out in the street, make sure nobody's coming, so we're not getting anybody hurt.
Commissioner,
Yes.
yeah.
Just trying to think of how I want to word the motion.
Approve the Oakdale Park Maintenance Road Access Proposal as presented.
Say that again.
Good answer.
I
I'll make a
motion that we
motion
accept
then,
the-
that we do the partial road closure in front of the Oakdale shop area. I don't know,
As-
anything more?
As presented?
As proposed.
As
As
proposed?
opposed?
In a second, thank you, sir. Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Does that just happen, or goes to city commission for?
We wanted your recommendation,
Okay.
and I would bring this information back to the city manager with some costs, which I don't believe there really would be any costs.
Yeah, the planters we have on hand, there'll be some plant material to go in it. We will have to purchase some signs. And I still want to propose to, on that, you see, there's a yellow star up there on the north end of that road, to get with West Star Energy and maybe put another street light up there, just to light that up a little bit better, so at night somebody's not making that turn and running into a planter.
Good idea.
So, yeah, we would, get a little budget together, propose it to the city manager, and with your recommendation, go from there.
Very good. Anything else? Motion and a second, so all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. On to old business to update
Can I make-
items.
I'm
Yeah, go ahead,
sorry,
sir.
I don't mean
You're
to
good.
interrupt, but I have one more thing for new business. There was a flyer up there for Spring Spruce Up. We're going to try, yeah, there you go. We're going to partner with the Friends of the River. They do the Spring Spruce Up every year, and we're going to try and get about 60 volunteers to paint trash cans, picnic tables. I want to say anything that doesn't have legs and moves, but I hesitate to go that far. But, so that's our intention anyways, to try and do that. We'll do it in Oakdale Park. Depending on how many volunteers we get, we could have them all get there, and let's just say we have 60. I may try and take 30 of them and go to either Jerry Ivy Park or Sunset Park and do very similar projects there. And then again, like Jeff and I talked, that again, depending on how many volunteers we get, we may even send some to Bill Burke and try and spruce up some shelters and stuff there. It just depends on the weather in April and the number of volunteers, but I just want to bring that to your attention.
Thank you, sir.
Are they somehow going to have a sign-up site or something like that to maybe do that?
All, everything is going through Friends of the River right now, and Jane Anderson, the executive director, has a lot of contacts, so she's sending a lot of this stuff out to people. Kansas Wesleyan, for example, they participate heavily with a lot of students, so each of those locations you see on that flyer, they're to report to that location. Then what we'll do is just take a head count and have people sign up so we know who's there and how many. But signing up beforehand with groups and stuff like that, yeah, that will be handled through Friends of the River.
Very good. Old business 8A, Kenwood train information update.
Just to follow up, we did get some additional information. Rick received some quotes from the person that he stated, and I let him speak about it. regarding the value of the train and what someone would buy it for and what it would cost to move the train if we wanted to do that. So, go ahead, sorry.
So, and these are just estimates. He didn't give us a exact bit, here's what I'll do it for type thing, but he thought the train had a value of about $35,000. And that would be where he or somebody would come in, have to build additional tracks out to the street, move the train out there, get it loaded on with a crane, I would suppose, on a truck trailer and get it hauled out. Then I also talked to him about, since we had the other gentleman here that talked to us about maybe relocating it. He didn't know for sure because he didn't know the distance, but he estimated, what did I say,
$60,000 to $70,000.
$60,000 to $70,000 to relocate that thing. And I'm guessing part of that is with the height of it, that it would probably involve moving power lines, getting a route. You're going to have police officers, and there's a lot of things involved with that. Kind of like what Jeff and I talked about too, is that right now we don't anticipate the city having to pay any of that. We don't have a place to take it. So if somebody, friends of the train, for lack of a better thing to say, somebody came up and said something like that, then that would be maybe a route to go. And he is looking at it not to scrap it, but to refurbish it to where it would run.
Just for Commissioner Lankowitz's benefit, we started this conversation with the Parks and Rec Advisory Board about increased vandalism, abuse around the train, people trying to get into the train, physically get into the cavity of the train, about putting a taller fence there, which spurred more conversation about do we put a fence there? Do we not make it available for people to get into and view close up, which is what it is now? And then Rick, just at the same time, someone had called and inquired about, there's another community looking at selling a train and renovating a train. And so we started going down this path, and so we're just kind of reporting back to the board what we're finding. But the cost associated with the new fence, removing the ramp that goes up to is considerable. So we're still having these conversations, and so, thank you.
There could be a cost on that. He looked at it, and just his initial look, he thought that the asbestos lining in the boiler part of it had already been abated. So he didn't think that there would be any cost associated with that, unlike the one that I think I told you about before, that there was considerable cost just to get the asbestos abated.
The cheapest option would be people to stop vandalizing it. Just want to be clear about that. So,
Pardon me?
so the cheapest option is people just stop vandalizing it. But, thank you for that. Any questions from board members? On to 8B, tennis complex construction update.
The tennis construction at the former Salina Municipal Pool site is set to begin in March, 1st of March, weather pending, of course. There is a construction schedule associated with that. There are still, and I think I made mention in the minutes about the tennis group coming back before you. This meeting, that will probably be scheduled in March. To discuss a proposed operating model, which is still being the details are still being worked out about that. However, construction is starting very soon with Hutton Construction, and they anticipate being done at the end of July into August. So I just want to make sure you're all aware of that.
Nothing's happening with the pool house as of now, or is that part of this phase of construction?
There is a part of it going on with the bathhouses on the left and right side.
Okay.
The bathhouses are being made operable. They're doing epoxy floors, putting in some new fixtures. We have to run new water lines to the building. The interior of the old pool house will be kind of a phase two.
Okay.
And it's kind of up to whoever operates it. Let's say it's this Salina Tennis Alliance group. They have to come up with what they want. They're not there yet.
Okay. Thank you. Questions, comments? On to item 9, general announcements. Could have started the meeting. Think you have a shorter title than when you were here with us last. Congratulations
Thank
on
you.
that.
I appreciate
So,
it.
yeah.
The drainage project at Bill Burke is completed. Hopefully we get some moisture and some sunlight so we can see some grass growing. Quite a bit of grass area that needs to recover. A few areas that need to be addressed as we get into the spring. There's some concrete repairs. There's a concrete repair that needs to be done that Public Works is going to take care of. A few little minor loose ends. But that project is complete. And hopefully the moisture we're getting tonight, maybe we'll see some activity in the morning even, as far as the ability for water to drain away from fields 1, 2, and 3. We'll see. Not sure how much moisture we're going to get. And tomorrow, we have a closing date for requests for proposals for Bill Burke infield turf and park improvements for Bill Burke Park. That's due tomorrow, so it's design and engineering documents. So we're trying to get someone to help us with some design and engineering for Bill Burke Park. That's due tomorrow, and hopefully we can get very soon into an agreement with someone to help us start designing that and put the pieces in place so that we can move forward at the end of summer to get infield turf.
On how many fields there?
8.
All 8. Very good. Anything else for the good of the cause?
He mentioned grass, hopefully get some grass going. I want to mention 2 spots of, we call it Tower Field. Kind of got that in there late last fall, but anticipating hopefully get some growth on that. And then Matson infield, maturity-wise, probably about the same. We got that in there late in the fall, so we're going to have to do some shuffling around, especially in that March, April time. I just spoke with the ADs and coaches about this, so he's one of them. But we're going to try to do some chess, play some chess there and matching around in March, April, but just allow those surfaces to mature and hopefully get some growth. But it's all pending on weather.
Very good. Nothing else?
I
Motion?
have a question.
Yes, sir.
Something I don't know. How is the soccer complex managed? Because I know there was private money that was put into that also. So I was just curious how that was managed. And is there any way that you would do it similar, or is this going to be totally different with the tennis?
Can you?
Sure.
Yeah.
The soccer complex is, city facility. We do have Dave Atterkirk, and he oversees that facility as far as programming. We just got out of a meeting with the high schools, colleges who do still utilize that facility. He coordinates all the practices that are on the facility. Is that kind of what you're after as far as
Yeah, I was
operations
curious
go?
How that was managed?
We do manage it, yes. From our own programs to tournaments to club to high school to colleges, it all comes through us, and we schedule all that.
So it's not like you would lose, I'm going to put it this way, the extreme, lose control over the new tennis complex, that they would run everything.
The details of that are being worked out. We would still it would still be a city facility. We would still be involved in maintaining it to some degree, or to a large degree, whether it be grass in the building, replacing certain things, whether it be nets, items like that. But we would still it would be a public-private partnership that would probably be similar to, in model to maybe Dean Evans Stadium, where there's different groups involved in that, whether it be USD 305, Salina Tennis Alliance, and the city, of course.
Anybody else? Take a motion to adjourn
I'll motion to adjourn.
in a second.
I'll second that.
All those in favor say aye. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you all.